What's everybody? Welcome to Assback Sports Ish.
Can you please keep that in there?
Oh, I'm absolutely
What's up?
keeping that in there.
What's up, y'all? I'm G. About to go over some
Uh,
NFL awards and rumors and talk a little bit about what happened in that Super Bowl.
yeah, we're going to get into a lot of stuff here real quick just to kind of go over, what's going on in the NFL to end the season. It's the saddest time of the year for all us football fans here. Now we just kind of enter into the dead period, which is a great time to check out our episodes on the Browns and the Titans and continuing with the Giants and more coming soon. We're going to go in draft order. So make sure you tune in for that. Come check us out. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Instagram. We're on everything. We got links everywhere on all of our socials. So make sure you check all those out and give us a follow and a like. We'd really appreciate
And
it.
comment. And
Tell us
comments
what you
going,
think.
guys.
Yeah, we want to argue
Yeah,
with you guys.
yeah, I'm
We
ready
want
for
to
an
tell
argument.
you, yeah, we want to get into it. That's what sports is. That's the best part
Yeah.
about it. We want to tell you why we still thought the Chiefs were going to win, even though we were very wrong. We want to tell you
Very
what the
wrong.
Titans need to do. We want to tell you what the Browns need to do. And I'm sure you're going to agree with some stuff and you're going to disagree with the others. And that's okay. That's what we're here for. So let's hear it. I want to hear from everybody. So let's just get into it, man. Let's get into the NFL honors. We had some robbery go on. MVP was Josh Allen, and it's just robbery, man. I mean, he had a great season. Don't get me wrong. Like, he's a great quarterback. I like Josh Allen. 3,731 yards, good for 219 yards a game, 28 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. I mean, the dude played great. I can't deny that aspect of it. But dude, when you're going up against Saquon a season like this, and he doesn't win MVP. Can we just rename the MVP award for quarterbacks? Can we just change something about it? Because it's just ridiculous at this point.
Yeah, I
We got
agree.
Jamar Chase won the Triple Crown this year, not even in the MVP conversation. Saquon Barkley literally had the most rushing yards in an NFL season combined. Can we just get out of here with Josh Allen not even having 4,000 yards? He didn't even lead the league.
Man, it always goes to the quarterback no matter what. It's some bullshit, if you ask me. Just do a quarterback award, and then we can do another MVP award because all we do is give it to a quarterback. And yeah, I agree. Saquon Barkley deserved it more than anybody. I mean, had Buffalo made it to the Super Bowl, okay, maybe we can talk about it. But come on, man, who's the most valuable player? Saquon Barkley, because the Eagles, they're not getting where they got without Saquon Barkley. It's not happening.
Yeah, and I mean, he may have not had a great Super Bowl, but the Chiefs sold out to stop him. You could tell that's what they were doing the whole game. They were trying to stop him. It wasn't just, they were afraid of him, and I think they overcommitted on that. And we'll get into that more a little bit later too. But it's still Saquon deserved the MVP. Jamar Chase deserved the MVP more than Josh Allen. Jamar Chase was a monster this year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's tough, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
like you said, man, I think there needs to be a separate award because
I think that'd be the best way to do
give it to a quarterback every year.
No, it's ridiculous.
What about defensive players?
Yeah, it just makes it not fun. I mean, we've seen great defensive players come around. We've seen other great offensive players come around, and every year it's like, oh, what quarterback did the best? What quarterback had great games and did all this? We don't talk. I mean, Saquon had a backwards hurdle. Saquon had 2,000 yards. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. The dude was amazing. And again, not taking anything away from Josh Allen. Great that he got one. He's a good quarterback. But in a year like this, he didn't deserve it. So, and it's unfortunate. And there is a award for just the running backs too. There's the Jim Brown Award is given to the best running back in the league. Saquon got that, and he got Offensive Player of the Year. It's like, okay, so we have a running back award. We have an offensive player. We have a sack leader award, Deacon Jones sack leader award. There's a sportsmanship award, and guess who won that too? Josh Allen. I mean, come on. We have these other awards, and guess who won FedEx Air and Ground Players of the Year? Josh Allen and Jamar Chase. Yeah, like, come on, man. Like, we have enough rewards for quarterbacks. Let's just make this a real thing. Let's just make this a quarterback award, because that would just make everything easier. Then we won't get robbery like this. Moving on a little bit, we're going to go to the Coach of the Year, Kevin O'Connell. I mean, I know you're a little salty about it being a Lions fan and everything, but he had a good year. He did good, man.
But, I'm not saying that he didn't have a good year, okay? But, like, fine, whatever. But, I mean, how has Dan Campbell not won Coach of the Year in the last 3 years? I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
And first of all, Kevin O'Connell, we made it further than they did. So why, I mean, if anybody should be in second, I feel like it should have been Dan Campbell and then Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn did a hell of a job this year.
I
So
agree.
I would be less upset if it was Dan Quinn. Kevin O'Connell, what did he do?
Yeah, I mean, you drafted a rookie in the first round and everything, and you hoped he was going to be your starter, and he didn't do great, and that's all fine and dandy. But like, dude, you kind of just did what you were supposed to do. Sam Darnold and the rookie, like you didn't know what you were getting either way, so you brought a quarterback in and you did good. You're surrounded by great offensive pieces: Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson, T.J. Hawkinson, Aaron Jones. The list goes on. There's a lot of great players there, and he's a good coach. Again, I know you're not taking anything away from him. I'm not either. But
I mean, Dan Campbell is. Look how many injuries we had this year, and Dan Campbell came back. I mean, we had the most by like a large margin, right?
And not just regular injuries. They were starters too. These guys were starters, and then the guys that replaced the starters that got hurt came in and started, and then they got hurt. So like first and second string, and you guys still made it. Still had the most wins in Lions history.
We still won the division. We beat the Vikings. Get out of here.
Same thing can be said for Dan Quinn. Bringing the Commanders to the playoffs or getting a playoff win for the first time in 30 years. Come on, exactly. Kevin O'Connell didn't do anything like that. Again, good coach. No. Nothing bad to say about the guy. But again, and I don't know. I feel like a lot of the NFL honors this year, they were just off. I mean, next is comeback player of the year. We got Joe Burrow, which, yeah, sure, fine, good enough, I guess. Like comeback player of the year, meh. Not a huge award. Nobody really cares about it. And he got hurt, missed most of the season, came back and led the league in passing in pretty much every category. And so, exactly. An AP Offensive Player of the Year again, Saquon, he should have got that and MVP. Wouldn't have been a bad idea. He deserved it. He was dominant. If anything, I think it should have been Saquon MVP and maybe give Offensive Player of the Year to Jamar Chase because he had the Triple Crown. I think if you do something that very few players in the NFL history have ever done, like winning a Triple Crown, it doesn't happen very much. It's only happened a handful of times. Well, we had like Jerry Rice, Shannon Sharp, Steve Smith, Cooper Kupp, and now Jamar Chase. So like what, 5 guys? That's not very many people. So the fact that something like that went without an award, and I mean, again, he got the Air Player of the Year. Woo, I'm sure he's real happy about that. Like, come on, dude. Defensive Player of the Year was probably the only one that I think a lot of people can agree on. Patrick Surtain had a great year. But that was kind of a toss-up. There wasn't really like a dominant defensive player this year like there was on offense. And then Rookie of the Year, too.
I mean, there was some good... Dude, what about my boy Kirby Joseph?
For sure. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I feel like the last few years honestly, like the last 10 years, we've been really blessed with a lot of amazing, like when people win Defensive Player of the Year, it's because they were amazing. They were dominant. I mean, we saw TJ Watt, we saw Aaron Donald win all these awards, and those guys were dominant, and not taking away anything from Patrick Surtain. He played great, and I think he's a great defensive player.
Played better than him, but yeah.
Yeah. But again, I just don't think it's something that you can really argue with. Patrick Surtain was a great cornerback. I think he led the league in like coverage grades and stuff like that. So he was great. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Jaden Daniels. We don't really got to say much about that. I mean, we could say a lot about it, but he was amazing. He re-energized that whole franchise. He gave them something to watch, something to tune in for, something to believe in, and that hasn't been there for a long time. I mean,
as a rookie is phenomenal,
really.
Like,
he just,
I mean, you ain't seen that, and I have never seen that, to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's literally out there acting like a veteran. He's out there, I mean, just easy. I mean, he makes it look easy. He looks so comfortable, and then to take him as far as he did, there's no other rookie you can even come close to giving this award to besides him.
I agree. I think that he absolutely 100% deserved it. I mean, let's see here. For Pro Football Focus, he overall grade, he was 6th out of all quarterbacks. Passing grade, he was
fantastic.
8th. His rushing, he was 6th. For his season stats, passing touchdowns, he was 10th with 25, 16th with total yards at 3,568, 9 interceptions, good for 55th in the league, but I mean, still 25 touchdowns and 9 interceptions, not bad at all. He did great. His scramble yards were the first in the NFL, third in rushing touchdowns for quarterbacks, second in designed runs, third in designed run yards. Again, we can keep going on and on about Jaden because he looks great. He looks like the future, and that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I'm very curious to see how he does in his second year. We were saying all this same stuff about CJ Stroud last year, how he was going to be a top 5 quarterback. And again, CJ Stroud was good. I'm not taking anything away from him. But after everybody gets a year of film on you, it's hard. You know, they used to mention it all the time. We used to talk about the sophomore slump. But now whenever a quarterback or any other player has a bad second year, everyone's like, oh, well, maybe we were wrong about them. Maybe they were a bust. No, it's just that these players have a sophomore slump. It happens to almost every single rookie in a relatively complex position: left tackle, D end, quarterback, cornerback. A lot of these guys fall off a little bit in their second year. I mean, and fall off. CJ Stroud fell off, and it's not much. He still had a good year, and he still took him to the playoffs. And Jaden Daniels will be the same. He'll be fine. Nothing to worry about there. Defensive rookie of the year. You what?
I don't think he'll have a slump.
We'll see. I mean, it wouldn't be too surprising. Like I said, people getting film on him and everything. They really need to add some more pieces to that offense, give him a little bit better offensive line, give him someone besides Scary Terry to go out there and catch passes from. I mean, they have some guys there, but really adding someone else would be huge. I'm very curious to see what they do in the offseason. It's going to be a big year. And then moving along to defensive rookie of the year, we got Jared Verse.
He deserves that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really think there was another defensive rookie that could get close to doing that. I mean, you could say Cooper DeJean and Quinion Mitchell, they were great all year. They finished in the top 10 in cornerback ratings on Pro Football Focus. So, they both did good. But, I mean, Jared Verse was...
Dude, he's so fast. Just watching him go and take off after the quarterback. I mean, he's violent and he's fast.
Well, and he's technically sound too. Like that was, I feel like that was like a knock on him. And we get this like every single year. Every year there's a knock on a defensive player, an offensive player, because they're not that fast, they're not that strong, they're not that tall, whatever it may be. And some of them don't work out for sure. Some of them, that is something they can't overcome. But then there's guys like this that are just technically sound. They get the job done. They do things the right way. They're not relying on speed. They're not relying on strength. They're relying on knowing how to use the speed and the strength that they already have. So that's always great to see. And Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean did the same thing. These rookies that we see, and Jaden Daniels did the same thing too. They're just doing what they're doing. They may not be the fastest. They may not be the strongest, but they're smart. And they're technically sound. That's what I love to see it personally. I love to see players like that. It reminds me of Tim Duncan, the big fundamental, and again, basketball, I know, but that he wasn't the best. He wasn't the strongest. He wasn't the fastest, but he was technically sound. And Jerry Rice was the same way. So, these guys, so many of them. I mean,
there's a lot.
The list can go on. We'll keep going here. The next gen stats moment of the year was Jaden Daniels' Hail Mary. Again, Jaden Daniels is awesome. We already knew that. Walter Payton, Man of the Year. Eric Armstead. Congrats to Eric Armstead. Cool to see that. Walter Payton, Man of the Year is always a great thing to get. FedEx Aaron Brown, Player of the Year. Like I said, Josh Allen, Jamar Chase. A Salute to Service Award. George Kittle. He's always been really active in the vet community, and I know that he's a big proponent of all that stuff. So, congrats to him. NFL Latino Youth Honors, Sophie Gutron and Mariano Talamentes. I'm not too sure any information on them, but congrats to those ones. The Sportsmanship Award, I mentioned that too. Josh Allen got that too. Might as well just make that a quarterback award. Deacon Jones sack leader, Trey Hendrickson for the Bengals. Surprising to see a Bengal on a defensive thing, because that defense was atrocious. I mean, I'm a Panther fan, so I can't say much about that. But
I was going to say
the Bengals were right.
Trey Hendrickson's a bright spot. I'm not sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that might be I don't know I think he's on his last year,
I think you're right. Let me pull it up real quick.
They got to pay him, which they're not going to be able to pay him, I don't think.
I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, he is a free agent after this year. But he might be gone. Hopefully they re-sign him, because they need anything and everything they can on defense. Because that defense, I mean, again,
but they got a lot of contracts.
But yeah. Well, I mean, how much space do they have? Cap space? I mean, they got $46 million. They don't got nothing.
Yeah, but who else they got to pay this year? Because they got to pay somebody else big. Jamar Chase already got his, didn't he? or no?
Yeah, T. Higgins. They got to pay T. Higgins.
Higgins.
So, yeah,
That's
that'll
right.
be interesting for sure.
They're either going to let T. Higgins go or you're going to sign Trey Hendrickson because you can't keep both, probably.
Yeah, and I mean, it might not be the worst thing to get rid of Trey Hendrickson just because that defense was so bad and you want to keep that offense together. I've heard T. Higgins say maybe he'll take a little bit less money to stay around. And,
maybe,
that
you could trade him.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. He's been linked to the Panthers a lot too because he's from South Carolina, I'm pretty sure, and all that. But it's like, you know what? I don't want to give a draft pick for I'd rather just draft one. Nothing against T. Higgins. He'd be cool. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I was screaming for him last year, but
Yeah, but you got to build to the draft. You're not ready for that.
Yeah,
y'all ain't
exactly.
ready. Y'all ain't ready to make trades and make splashes because it ain't gonna work out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Again, good on Trey Hendrickson for winning that sack leader award on playing on a bad defense. He didn't have much help. Assistant coach of the year is your favorite assistant coach.
Yeah,
Benedict, what do you call him? Johnson. I love it. Dude. It's my favorite nickname.
Or if you listen to the Lion Syndicate, he calls him the Liquid Snake.
The Liquid Snake.
The Liquid Snake, shout out to that. But yeah, don't really congratulations, Ben, but fuck you.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Okay. Fan of the year, Megan Stefanski, a Lions fan. Awesome to see a fan of the year be a Lions fan. I mean, you guys are diehard fans, like I've known you for so long, and you just like me, Panthers haven't been great, and you've always repped your Lions from day one.
Oh,
and I'm sure that lady has too. So,
I can't
congrats for her.
She didn't miss a game. She hasn't missed a game since I don't even know. Since it's been years she ain't missed a game.
Let's see. She's a librarian. She calls herself a baseball nerd, a Detroit Lions fan of the year. Oh, she was a Detroit Lions fan of the year last year too.
Yeah, dude, she is the fan.
Yeah, I mean, dude, good for her.
Lions.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Let's see, I want to see if we can find anything here. She said she was inspired by her dad. Cool. Lifelong. Yeah, her father. She drives 700 miles in 10 hours round trip. She lives in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, and she drives there every Sunday to watch the Lions. That's awesome.
That's dedication.
And dude, she travels to every away game and organizes. Jeez.
I don't think she's missed a game in forever. I'm trying to find it. I think it was because I thought there was something crazy that she never. I might be wrong.
I'm trying to find it too, but
yeah, but she drives to
10 hours round trip. That's crazy.
Yeah.
She drives 5 hours south, tailgates with her dad's old friends, and sits in her dad's old seat. That's pretty cool.
She raised $1,000 for charity this past year. That's awesome.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I mean, Megan, good for you. We spent a lot more time on this part than I thought we would, but awesome. Cool, huge fan. Love it coming from the Lions fan. Yep.
Yeah.
What do you guys say? Baby. We have keep pounding. What do you guys have? Defend the den. Yeah, I love it. Defend the den. Yeah. Defend the den, Megan. Keep on going on. Keep on sitting in your dad's seat. Yeah, one pride too. And then NFL flag football players of the year, we got Daniel Berry and Josie Clayton. Again, not a lot of information on that, but good for them. Yeah. Congrats, guys. Keep dominating in flag football. It's going to the Olympics, so it's a way to really bring spotlight to these kids, and I think that's going to be great. And I mean, maybe some of these guys make it to the NFL. Maybe we see a women's football league someday. I think there actually is a couple of them. But,
yeah.
NFL flag football is cool. It's great. I coached it 1 year. It's been a lot of fun. Keep on going here. We got the Jim Brown Award. Again, Saquon Barkley. There's not even a question of who else should have got that. Don Shula High School Coach of the Year, John Hart from Brownsburg High School, and Bill Jacklin from Slinger High School. Congrats to both of you guys. That's awesome. Really working on those young minds. And hopefully some of those guys will continue to play football, and maybe we'll see them in the NFL someday. And you can say, hey, I was the high school coach of the year for that guy. So that'd be cool. So we got all those honors going. And again, some robbery there, but pretty, besides the MVP award, I think everything else is pretty solid for the most part.
Yeah. Minus no, coach of the year. It's bullshit.
Yeah, coach of the year and MVP. Those are always
Dan Quinn or Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
But
I'm upset about it, but I am biased at the same time. But still, I mean, whatever. And
Yeah.
I hate the Vikings, so it makes it even worse.
Yeah, understandable.
It is what it is.
Yep. And
Go ahead and
with
put more
that,
fire and fuel us up, and let's go. We're gonna be back next year.
bulletin board material. Oh yeah, we're gonna get into post Super Bowl kind of updates, news, just a little bit of everything going on that. I mean, congrats to the Eagles. We were wrong. We were really, really, really wrong. And that's okay. We'll eat that crow. I think with great teams like the Chiefs are, you really do just have to kind of give it to them until we're shown what we were shown. So,
but I did say that this is the worst Chiefs team that I've seen. And
absolutely.
So that definitely maybe I should have listened to myself, but I didn't. So yeah, the Eagles whooped their ass. It wasn't even close. It really wasn't a game, unfortunately. I would have preferred
and the final score, as bad as it was, didn't even really tell that whole story because it wasn't
worse
even
than the score.
It was way worse than the score.
Yeah.
So
dominated.
Yeah.
I would like to say that the Eagles defensive line, they deserve the MVP for that game. I mean,
100%.
Dude, they used only 4.
Didn't blitz once.
Dominated. They sacked Mahomes like 2 times in a row. I was just like
6 times. I think 6 times. Yeah. And honestly, Josh Sweat probably deserves MVP. Jalen Hurts MVP. I can't complain about that.
He's a free agent.
I'm fairly certain. Yeah.
Come on over here to Detroit. We need you. Come on. Let's go.
Nah, come hang out in Carolina, dude. We'll we're not going to be as good.
If you want to win games, you got to come to Detroit. I mean, if you want to lose, you can go to Carolina.
He ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, you might. But anyways, it was I mean, the Eagles came out, they played their ass off. I mean, every bit of it, on every phase, special teams, offense, defense, they were ready to roll, and they absolutely dominated. They came to play. The Chiefs forgot. I don't know. They forgot how to play. It looks like. But
I think a big part of it was they were trying, like I talked about earlier, they were trying to just really sell out to stop Saquon, and they did. I mean,
they did a good job.
Like 50 yards. He was a non-factor, but you kind of forgot about the rest of that offense. AJ Brown is a good receiver. Devontae Smith is a good receiver. Dallas Goedert didn't do much, but he's still good. They just kind of totally forgot about the rest of the team. And yeah, it is what it is. I mean, they just kind of got dominated in pretty much every aspect. And I thought it'd be a little closer passing wise, just because the Chiefs have a good secondary. That secondary is not bad, but
their defense did okay. They're off. I mean, it was really the offense. Their strongest point. I mean, they couldn't put points up. They didn't even have any points in the second half.
Well, they couldn't sustain a drive. They couldn't sustain a drive. That was the biggest part of it. I mean, the very first first down they got was on the first offensive play of the game of the drive for the Chiefs, and that was the last first down they had until the second half.
Yeah, I know.
That's insane.
So I think Devontae Smith too was like either the 4th or 5th Heisman winner to actually win a Super Bowl.
Nice.
There's only been 4 or 5 of them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy to think that the best player in college over all of these years has only won a handful of Super Bowls. You'd think that those guys would be littered throughout the whole list, but they're just not. I don't know if that says a lot about the Heisman or if that says a lot about scouting or if that says, I don't know what that says, but pretty interesting.
Well,
but
the Heisman can be kind of questionable sometimes. But
absolutely. Yeah, there's been some winners for sure that we were just like, huh, that guy won. Okay. Oh,
yeah, weird. I mean, a lot of people would argue this year's, Travis Hunter didn't deserve it, and but
yeah. Well, maybe he can have that list
to be made there.
Unless he goes to the Browns or something like that, then sorry, Browns fans. I know I kind of bag on you a lot, but you guys were as bad as the Lions for a long time, and honestly, probably even worse.
No, they weren't worse.
They weren't worse? I don't know. I think you guys were right there at the bottom.
Dude, 31 years. It took 31 years to win a playoff game.
It took 30 years for the
Browns have won a playoff game.
Fair enough.
Last year was the first year we won a playoff game in 31 years. So
that's true. Yeah.
We've
Well,
been bad.
still, but we'll see what the draft brings and where Travis Hunter ends up. We'll do more once we get closer to the draft, once we get through the combine and everything. So make sure you guys tune back in. Make sure you follow us so you can catch that content when it comes up. But yeah, again, good job on the Eagles winning that. Still to the Chiefs, great season. You guys played great. Patrick Mahomes didn't have a great season, but that offense is a little broken. That offensive line isn't good. You pretty much only have Worthy. Travis Kelce's kind of near the end of his career. Hollywood Brown was hurt all year, and he's never really been that much of a factor anyway. He's got like a pedigree because he's a first-round pick, but he hasn't really done much. They got a lot of work to do. What's their cap space looking like? Let me see.
Who's that?
The Chiefs. Their cap space. They have 11 million, so not really anything because you got to spend
that's
about
what happens
$7
when you win all the time.
Yeah, and they have a lot of money tied up in a couple players too. Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, and Patrick Mahomes take up like a good majority of that salary cap. That's why they didn't
Travis
sign the Jerry
Kelce's not
Seed.
making that much.
Let's see.
He's got a cap hit of 19 million.
Okay.
But let's see. So he's gonna make what? 17
yeah, so he's under contract
million?
through this next year. His cap hit is 19 million.
But he's only making 4.5 million.
His base salary, his base salary this next year will be 4.5 million. The roster bonus is 12. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So not too much, but it's still a lot. I don't know if there's like a breakdown of where this all is. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is 24% of the cap. Chris Jones is 12% of the cap. And then it kind of drops off there. You got Jawan Taylor, right tackle, 9%, almost 10% of the cap. Joe Thuney, their guard / left tackle, 9%. Travis Kelce is 7%. And then after that, it drops off a cliff. So those top 5 guys are a majority of the salary cap. Then after it goes down to about 4% for Creed Humphrey, 3%, 2%, and then into the 1%. So, but they've got work to do. You're already paying Juwan Jennings so much and Joe Thuney. And Joe Thuney's been a great guard. He's an all-pro left guard. And Juwan Jennings is a good right tackle. Juwan Taylor, I'm sorry. But that left tackle position, you need to have a left tackle there. Your left guard is a good left guard, but he's not a good left tackle, as great as he is. And then at the same time, you're exposing your left guard position because you took the all-pro out of it. So maybe that had something to do with their struggles. I'm curious to see what they do. I was talking to one of my buddies that's a Chiefs fan the other day, and I told him, I said, you guys need to trade up and go and get someone in the draft. Go get a tackle, go get a left tackle, because just piecing together this offensive line like they have been ain't working out. The 2 times that Patrick Mahomes has lost in the Super Bowl, you got dominated the offensive line position. They get in his face. That's the best way. Defense wins championships. We already know that. But when your offensive line is good, you can kind of accommodate for that. And we saw that with the Eagles and the Chiefs. The Chiefs defense was good. It's not like it was a bad defense. But against that offensive line, it's hard to be a good defense when your offensive line is gigantic.
Oh, yeah.
So, we'll see what happens with the Chiefs. We'll see what they do. The Eagles, I don't know what they have to do. I don't know if there's a really bad position on that team. Their linebackers are good. The safeties, their corners, their D-line obviously is amazing. So, it's kind of like, where are they going to go? It's going to be really interesting to see that. I'm pulling up PFF right now to see their grades. And Reed Blankenship was the worst player on defense. PFF grade. Oh no, actually Josh Sweat was the worst player on defense for PFF grade. He was 36. So I don't know. I don't really see any position where they really, really need to improve. Maybe free safety, their third receiver, I guess. Besides that, they're set. So interesting offseason for these 2 teams. We'll see if Travis Kelce retires. We'll see what free agents get brought back on both sides.
I think Darius Slay's leaving.
Yeah, but they can get by without him. Quinion Mitchell and Cooper, they're solid.
They did good. Yeah, but you're veteran.
Yeah, and but after a year, those guys will be all right. Cooper Jean was the first ranked slot corner, in PFF grade. So yeah, they aren't worried about it. They can pick up some other veteran or something like that to bring in. Darius Slay didn't have a great season. He wasn't bad or anything, but they'll be fine. Yeah, so curious to see what happens. We got the playoffs and everything over, and we'll have the offseason coming up soon. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with both those teams and see where they improve, where they fall apart a little bit. Get into a little
re-signed and who's going to become free agents and trades, and about to get interesting.
Absolutely. And we'll get into some of the rumors here after the Super Bowl, just kind of see, what the sports world is talking about. The big news is that Aaron Rodgers is out of the Jets. We kind of saw that coming. If you check out our Super Bowl, or our NFL news and rumors episode, you can see what G had to say about that, about Aaron Glenn, and how he, we knew he wasn't going to put up with that stuff.
Aaron Glenn laid it down. They're saying he wasn't going to be able to go to the Pat McAfee show, and they sat him down and told him that, and then told him he was going to have to come to the mini camps and all that stuff, and he won't be going to skip it. So they pretty much were like, look, you're not going to get away with all this bullshit. We're not going to treat you like, everybody else treats you just because you're great. If you're serious, we want you here. If you're not, because clearly he's not, then we don't want anybody who's not serious about playing and wanting to win and being a team player. So, I knew Aaron Glenn wasn't going to put up with that. I like Aaron Glenn. He's going to be a good coach, and he does not put up with anything. He wants players that want to play, that want to win, and if you don't want to do that, he don't mind he don't care if you're the best player in the league. See ya.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And with that, Devontae Adams is probably going to leave too. He's technically still under contract, but he's good as gone. I mean, he doesn't want to be there without Aaron. They don't want to have him. They don't want his $38.3 million cap hit either. I mean, so he's gone. We'll see where Devontae Adams shows up, because it's real interesting. It's he's a little bit older. He's kind of near the end of his career. He's still a great receiver though. Still really good. It's not like he fell off a cliff or anything like that. It's not like he was bad. I mean, with everything he had with the Raiders and with the Jets not being great, he still finished 31st in the league in Pro Football Focus, had a 75.8 grade. So it'll be really interesting to see where he goes. He's going on his 11th year in the league. He was drafted in 2014. We'll see where he ends up, man. I've seen rumors about the Chargers. They need a good receiver.
That'd be a good place to go.
It'd be interesting to see him go to, maybe I could see the Texans or something like that, because Stephon Diggs is not going to be there, and he'd be a cool veteran to have. And especially with Tank Dell's big injury. I know that's not really a replacement.
You could see even Buffalo, probably not Buffalo. Well, maybe. Actually, yeah, that's a possibility. Then you got
Baltimore. I've seen Baltimore.
He's going to want to, if I'm him, I'm going somewhere where I think I can win a championship. Hell, the Chiefs. Sure. But I don't know that they got enough money. But, if he wants to take less money and take a veteran deal and,
Well, and these cap numbers that we've spit out to are all before all the crazy stuff that all these teams do, because every year, the Saints are really the biggest. If you want to see about how the salary cap doesn't matter, they're negative 54 million. And last year, I think they were negative 70 million, and they still found a way to get under. So we'll see. There's going to be some moves that are going to be made by the Chiefs and by all these other teams. Maybe he does go there. Would be a great place for him. He would be a huge target for Patrick Mahomes, but you guys got to spend money on that offensive line rather than receivers, because you can't throw it to anyone if you're getting destroyed in the front like that. So we'll see where he ends up. Definitely curious to see
Aaron Rodgers goes. Or does
retirement home.
I think he'll go. I think back to about maybe the Steelers.
Yeah, I've seen that too, but
or the Raiders. I don't think the Raiders are already a dumpster fire. You go do that, you're gonna piss off every fucking body.
Pete Carroll ain't going to deal with his shit. And that's the thing, is the teams that need him, they aren't going to deal with it. The Raiders ain't going to deal with his shit. Steelers ain't going to deal with his shit. Mike Tomlin ain't going to deal with that. He don't care. He's not, he's already had to deal with Antonio Brown, Chase Claypool, all these guys. He ain't going to put up with Aaron Rodgers. There's no way that happens. Yeah. I don't know. Really? I think he just retires, man.
Didn't they fire Mike Tomlin?
No, they won't fire him. It wouldn't be the most surprising.
I thought he got fired. Maybe that was some fake shit I seen a while back. I don't know.
Yeah, it's got to be, because there's no way they fire him. They make the playoffs every year with him. He's a great coach, and he's not putting up with that shit though. So I don't know. I think he just retires, because I can't think of a team where I'm like, they need a quarterback. They need a cheap quarterback, because the Browns came to mind too, but they don't have money to pay anyone, because Deshaun's eating up all that salary cap, so they ain't signing them. And the Colts, I could see, is kind of like a wild card team, just because Anthony Richardson, but Aaron's not going anywhere that he's not going to be guaranteed to start. You know, we
Yeah,
can
and
talk
he's
about
not
all
going to
these
go anywhere
teams.
that's not going to win either.
Yeah.
Although if I'm Pat
Um,
McAfee, I don't want him as a host. You know, I'm just saying. I mean, he might right now, but that dude's weird. So I don't know why would you want him all the time. And maybe I'm just biased because again, I am a Lions fan.
yeah.
A lot of bias going on here. I need to chill out. You know.
Well, but
But
I mean,
hey, you know,
it's accurate though. I mean, where is Aaron going to go? I mean, really, I'm sitting here, I'm trying to think. I'm like, man, what team needs a quarterback that could use Aaron Rodgers? And it's just like no one's going to put up with his shit. He just needs to retire. He just needs to be
Miami,
gone. The Giants,
the Jags.
but he's not going to start with the Jags. He's not going to start with Miami. Like,
He could
he'll
start with
start with for
Miami.
the Giants unless they get Shadur or something like that, and then he's a bridge
Yeah,
quarterback. But he doesn't want to be that.
they're going to get a quarterback. They're either getting a Cam Ward or a Shadur.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, as long as someone makes it to the third pick, they definitely will. But I don't know, man.
Well,
It's
after
just
they're getting Travis Hunter.
yeah. So I don't know. He just needs to retire. Honestly, I don't think there's a good place for him. Aaron Rodgers, just hang it up, dude. You're already regarded as like one of the best quarterbacks ever. I don't personally think so, but everybody else says it. So I'm sure you'll be a Hall of Famer.
He's won how many Super Bowls?
One. He's only been to one.
He did he? Okay, yeah, he did win one. I'm trying to think if there's another.
Pretty sure he's only been to one.
Congratulations, you're not shit.
Just double check. I'm fairly certain he's only ever been to one Super Bowl.
That's probably true. But yeah, somehow he's the best quarterback ever.
Most talented quarterback ever is what I always heard. And I'm just like, man, like I don't think he's even close to that.
That's a big list.
That's a big list. You know, and you could be all the talent in the world, but if you've only been to the Super Bowl once and you've only won one, sucks to suck, dude.
Well, look, Dan Marino was better than him, and he didn't even make a Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
Man.
Yeah. And other free agents, you know, like the Chiefs also have Trey Smith as a free agent. He's their guard. Yeah. He'll probably resign. We got other free agents. Chris Godwin. It'll be really interesting to see where he goes since he came back with those with that injury. Bill Mack, definitely curious to see where he goes. He's definitely at the end of his career at almost 34 years old.
I'm telling you, I want Khalil Mack. If we don't get Myles Garrett, okay, we don't trade for Myles Garrett. All right, I want to draft a DN, and I want Khalil Mack.
Wouldn't be a bad idea. Not at all.
He's cheap. He's like $6.8 million. That's less money than we paid Marcus Davenport, who played like 4 games.
But yeah, I mean, and
I don't care if he's on the downside. Like, who cares? He's still a great player. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, go ahead and rotate him and Zadarius Smith out. Let's go. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
and then we get 100%. That young rookie in there. Although I do want Myles Garrett, though. I really would like Myles Garrett. Myles, if you're listening, you're not going to listen to this podcast or whatever, but, you know, if there's some way that you do, you know, just come on over to Detroit, man. Just
I'll tag him in the post when I post all of them.
Exactly. Please just come to Detroit. And if you could just come over for like 1 or 2 draft picks, not a player, that would be phenomenal. Okay. And we don't need to sign a future contract right now. Let's just play what you got out and then we can talk. But let's just do that. So, you know, I would like to keep some of our players. So.
Well, I mean, y'all got plenty of draft space though. Let's see here. You guys got 46. Not like you're hurting.
But we got, all right, so we got Kirby, Joseph, we got to pay this year. Well, we'll get into it when we go over the lines, but we got a lot of players that are coming up to play, and if we do sign a Myles Garrett, you're potentially probably going to lose a Jamison Williams or a Brian Branch.
Yeah, there's going to be players you're going to have to sacrifice to get a player of that caliber.
Hutch is due now, too.
Yeah, it'll be real interesting. So again, we'll get more into that on the whole Lions episode, and that episode's probably going to be like 3 hours long, so we can just keep going and going about our teams. You know, it's going to be real interesting. And just going to run through a couple other free agents here. DJ Reed from the Jets, he's probably gone.
Before we get off of the Jets, because we were talking to Aaron Rodgers and stuff, what do you think they do for quarterback? Who do you think they go out? Do they go out and get somebody, or do they draft? Because you got Justin Fields, Sam Darnold, Russell Wilson.
Well, Sam Darnold ain't come back. No way.
Nah, I don't. I don't disagree. But I'm just saying, like, those are some of the free agents out there.
Yeah.
That possibly could be. You know, CJ Stroud or not CJ Stroud. Blanking on
Justin Fields.
Yeah, Justin Fields isn't a bad one. I think Justin Fields is actually a pretty decent quarterback, and I don't think he's got a fair shot. Matter of
Yeah,
fact, uh, I think, and I still to this day think that the Bears fucked up because they could have just instead of going and trading, they could have kept Justin Fields and used that first round draft pick to get a Marvin Harrison Jr. And
offensive
they
line.
probably could have got a Dunze too. I mean, and then you had a veteran quarterback that's probably closer to Caleb Williams isn't there yet. I don't know that he'll
Yeah,
ever get there. I don't really like the guy, but
yeah,
from what I've seen. But I'm just saying,
line's
like, they
good.
could have been a whole lot better. But I like Justin Fields. I think he hasn't had a fair shot. He played on a crappy Bears team and a crappy organization. And I mean, I think somebody needs to give him a shot.
I agree. I think that's probably the best option for them would be to go Justin Fields. If the Steelers don't do it, if the Steelers don't wake up and decide to
They
keep him
should.
instead of, I mean, they're talking about keeping Russell Wilson. I'm like, dude, what are you guys doing? Like,
There's,
Justin Fields is younger. He has more of an upside. He looked fine when you guys played him
I
before
thought he
Russell
played
Wilson got
better.
healthy. I thought he played better too. I thought he gave him a better chance. He was more dynamic. He can run. He can pass decently.
Yeah.
He's not the best or anything like that, but you don't got to be the best. You just need to surround him
No.
with better pieces there. All they have is George Pickens and Pat Freiermuth. I
Right.
mean, Najee Harris is there too, and he's a solid running back. He's not terrible. Ty Warren, same thing, And the offensive line, they tried. They drafted, can't remember his name. He's got a complex name, but they're trying. They're trying to improve that. But you need to get more weapons. George Pickens can't
Yeah.
do it by himself.
George
Pat
Pickens,
Freiermuth is a
I don't like his
solid tight
attitude.
end. No, yeah, he has a shitty attitude. I mean, I don't know what it is. They draft the Steelers just draft good receivers that have shitty attitudes.
Always.
And always, I mean, Chase Claypool, Antonio Brown, now George Pickens again. I mean, they really just need to go and get a receiver that's going to be a number one. Because even George Pickens isn't a number one. Yeah,
No,
he's a number
he's like
two.
a number two. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and he's a good number two. Don't get me wrong. George Pickens is a good receiver at times. He has his moments. But he's not number one. You got to give whoever your quarterback is a number one. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't think they could draft one in like the second round or something like that. There's been a lot of, I think second round is where we're going to see a lot of quarterbacks this year. So that'd be really interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I think the Jets should definitely give Justin Fields a shot. I think that'd be a better option than anything else they have out there. Because you draft a quarterback in the second round. There's some pieces in New York.
Yeah, it's not terrible. It's just it is a dumpster fire, but Aaron Glenn's there, and I'm telling you, Aaron Glenn's going to turn that organization around. I don't know that he's going to take him to a Super Bowl. I hope he does. I wish him luck. Screw Benedict Johnson, but at the same time, like I just feel like he's going to put the right pieces together.
Yeah,
I
agree.
I had to slide that in there. I'm sorry.
I love it. I love the Benedict Johnson thing, dude. It's great. It's a great name.
Yeah, Osama Ben Johnson too, man.
Osama Ben Johnson. Man,
he is a terrorist.
Yeah, I mean, to Lions fans, he is for sure. He definitely, I mean, going to the Bears from being the Lions and being like so like loyal to you guys too for so long. And then he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to go take a head coaching job with a rival.
I think that was his plan the whole time.
You think it was the whole time? I mean, the Bears, they were kind of like, are they going to fire their head coach for a couple of years?
I think if the Bears hadn't re-signed or kept their coach last year, I think he would have gone to the Bears. I don't think he would have stayed with us. I think he was waiting for the Bears. That's where he wanted to go.
Interesting. Maybe. We'll never know. I mean, he would never admit that, I'm sure.
Although, really, and people are going to give me crap because, finally, just because it happened to you. But I really think that coaches should not be able to be interviewed until the Super Bowl is over.
Or at least until your team's out.
No, I don't. Yeah, or maybe until your team's out. But I think because the problem is, then you got all these coaches that aren't in the playoffs now, and you got other teams trying to sign them, and they can't, they have to figure it out, or are they going to wait for maybe one of the coaches, I know they do deals like behind the scenes and stuff that, you don't hear about, and they do that. But I feel like the season's over when the season's over, and then people, then you start doing coaches,
Yeah. I don't really disagree. I don't think it'd be a bad thing.
Yeah, I just don't think you should be taking interviews when you got a playoff game to prepare for. Like, I mean, you could say what you want, like, oh yeah, well, their head's in it. Well, I don't know about you, but like, whenever you get a new job or something, you're going to tend to think about it. Hell, you might be excited about it. And that's what you're going to think about. You're not going to think about what's in front of you. Not that you not, totally disregard it, but at the same time, like, you definitely have a little bit of a distraction going on. I don't care what you say. So I just don't think it's right. I'm not
I
saying
don't
that's
really
why.
disagree.
I'm not saying that's why the Lions lost or anything like that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, I would have preferred and I'd have felt better about it.
Yeah.
If that were the case. I'm not saying that would have changed the game. I'm not saying Ben Johnson threw the game like some people were saying, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
whatever. It's Benedict Johnson. Anyway, sorry. I hate that motherfucker. I
No, you're
loved him.
good, dude, man.
All
But
right.
yeah,
Sorry.
so you guys, no, it's okay. I mean, we're kind of wrapping it up here anyway. I think that we went over a lot. There's the off season's coming in, and this is where we're really gonna come in to give you guys football content that you're looking for. We're gonna be posting episodes every week about all 32 teams going in draft order. We're gonna break them all down. So come check it out. Come watch. Come listen. We're gonna have them on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, pretty much everywhere you can find a podcast. It's gonna be there. So come check it out. Come listen. Get your content for the season after the Super Bowl, and for all of us NFL fans that just are full year NFL fans, because a lot of people are football fans and they're baseball fans and basketball. And don't get me wrong, I love the Kings. Big basketball fan for that, but football is my sport. Football is my everything, and I'll be following it all year. So we're gonna break those teams down and come check it out and leave us comments, like our videos, come follow us. We want to keep putting out content for you, and the more and more people that follow and like and view and everything, that will give us more opportunity and more drive to come and post more. So we hope to see you guys soon. Get your ass back to Assback Sports everywhere, on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, on Spotify, on Facebook. We're everywhere. Come give us a follow.
Like and subscribe, and if you got something you want us to talk about, put it in the comment section. We'll talk about it. If you guys want to comment and you prefer us to go live too, we can work something out there so we can go back and forth with y'all on what y'all think too. So
We'll definitely get some live shows going on later. Yeah, we'll definitely get live shows going eventually here once we kind of get into more of that situation. Maybe we'll do a live one for the draft. Let us know what you guys think about that. You want to see a live stream for the draft?
During the draft. Yeah, talk about the picks. I like that. Maybe we'll do. But all right, well, yeah, get your ass back. We'll be posting something around Saturday sometime. So
yeah, I'll probably post it up on Sunday.
Yeah. So get your ass back. We appreciate y'all.
We appreciate y'all. Take it easy, guys. Later.